Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Queen J Lotus Pimp Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, with a Royale review for My Wife and Kids, Season 1, Episode 7, Snapping and Sniffing. Hunter, I must do say, they clearly needed some help with the names of these episodes. I just feel like some of them are good. The names, that is, some of the names for them are good, and then some of the names are like, y'all could have done better than this. But I see what you're trying to do, but you shouldn't have. You should have scrapped that and tried something else. Anywho, this episode is indeed one of my faves. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the specificities of the episode. So, Michael comes home. It's right in the thick of the evening, it seems, and nobody else is home. He's beat everybody to the house, which kind of makes sense because he, you know what I'm saying, runs his own business. And all of the kids are in the midst of, you know, where they have like extracurricular shit going on, and Jay is a working woman now. So he comes in, he looking for everybody, he don't see nobody, and so he like, ain't nobody here. Guess I got no family. I guess I gotta fill in and be my own family. So he do impersonations of everybody, and it's funny as hell. He starts off with Katie. He's talking about, hey daddy, I went to the dentist today to get my lisp fixed. And you know, I never thought about it really that Katie had a lisp. I just thought, you know, she was a kid. Dang, that's something to think about because, you know, kids sometimes just talk funny, but at the same time, they might have a lisp. Like, at what point does it become apparent that they have a lisp? So then he moves on to Claire, and he like, daddy, I met this boy at school, and I don't really think he's cute, but everybody else thinks he's cute, so I think he's cute. So I guess I'm gonna try to talk to him or whatever. And ordinarily, I would say that his impersonation of Claire was like, you know what I'm saying, that hyper feminine thing that dudes do whenever they're impersonating women or girls of any kind. But that's actually how Claire be acting, specifically this version of Claire, you know. Then he moves into his impersonation of Junior, and of course he got to ask Junior first, you know, imaginary Junior, what he do today. Whatever it is, I didn't do it. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go into the bathroom because I got some unfinished business to take care of, child. Unfortunate. And honey, before I actually knew people with like kids this age, I used to think that perhaps like these shows were exaggerating the self-handling, if you will, that young boys tend to indulge in. But apparently it's not an exaggeration. But I am gonna ask, is that like across the board for young boys to be, you know, self-handling quite a bit? Goodness gracious. And then he does an impersonation of Jay, and he like, hey honey, how you doing? Michael, don't start with me right now. I had a hard day at work. And child, lo and behold, as soon as he do that, Jay come through the door, and he said, hey, how you doing? Jay come lately, where you been? And she pops straight into it. Michael, don't start with me right now. I had a hard day at work. A mess. Sound like, you know, his family down pat, honey. So he like, look, what's good? What is it giving? Where is everybody at? Where are the kids? And she lets him know, honey, it's all good. I had a late meeting, okay? The kids are in the after school program. Katie is getting scooped up by the nanny from Tumble Tots. What's the big deal? What's your problem? What you want? And he gets to telling her that he would like for his wife and kids to be home when he get home, and his wife to have some food on the table, hot and ready for him to eat, like his daddy had. And Jay cracked a little jokey joke like, okay, well, you just gonna need to come home later. And I feel like she is like on go, coming in straight through the door. Also, bars. Because she already knew that, you know, he was fixing to start trying to chastise her about her roles as a woman and as a wife and everything. He kept telling her that he feel like she ain't got no balance, that her job is more important to her than the household and him and the kids and all that. And he understand that she got to be feeling fulfilled and have her independence and carrying on, but it's starting to interfere with her place. She not remembering her place and all this other shit. And she tells him, you are such a misogynist. I must do agree. And he said, yeah, I could use a massage. I ain't been getting enough of those either. Sorry. So Jake snapped back. She like, what you trying to say? You trying to say I ain't doing what I'm supposed to be doing? I ain't handling all my business? Like, what are you trying to say? And he like, it would be impossible for you to do all of that. You would have to be like Superwoman or something. She said, what? I ain't Superwoman? Huh? I beg your pardon. I ain't Superwoman. He said, no, you're more like Batgirl. You look good in the suit, but you ain't got no superpowers, Nathaniel. Sir, the disrespect. I'd have to go on up the side of his big old bald head, because who is you talking to? How you gonna call me Batgirl? Because I ain't gonna lie, he absolutely correct about Batgirl. Like, she look good, she cute and everything, but she don't really be hitting on shit like somebody. You know what I'm saying? Even playing with her on Injustice. Like, I hate to fight her on Injustice because she lame. She do the same moves over and over again. She take off a whole lot of damage doing a whole lot of nothing. And then when you play with her again, a whole lot of damage doing a whole lot of Nathaniel. It's like, why you came? Why you came? Okay? Gosh. And Jay is, of course, rightfully offended because you're like, bad girl, like, what? And he said, okay, what about Wonder Woman? Because every time I come home, I'm wondering where my woman is. Sir, you ain't got to wonder. What you trying to say? You ain't got to wonder. You know where she at. She been at work, honey. And if she ain't at work, she on her way home, honey. And if she ain't at home, she on her way to work. What is she, huh? And she basically like, baby, I'm not fixing to take this Atlanta. And he said, hold on, pump your brakes. Because, baby, I didn't marry Wonder Woman. I ain't married Supergirl, Batgirl, none of them Marvel, DC characters. I ain't married none of them. I married Jay, the simple girl, Jay Marie Johnson. You the one started adding all this bunch of other stuff. Sir. Sir. Let me go ahead and wrap up the rest of the scene so I can get into his ass. Okay? And so she like, hold up. Because I can do all of this other stuff. I can be Jay Marie Johnson, the girl that you met, the girl that you married, and I can do all this bunch of other stuff. And check this, in the next 2 hours, I'm gonna go take a shower, I'm gonna change clothes, cook dinner, check homework, do 4 loads of laundry, and 2 loads of dishes. And then Michael talking about, oh, so you gonna be able to handle me after that too? Talking about he wanna get a little hanky panky. Basically, that's what he means. He want her to fulfill his primal needs. And she gonna say, you should be able to handle yourself, huh? You should be able to self-handle what you need, right? He said, look, I'm going to watch you while you in the shower. How about that? And I just feel like Jay was absolutely correct when she called him a misogynist because y'all know I done already like called him out on his misogynistic tendencies over the past couple of episodes, okay? Over all the past episodes leading up to this. Actually, now he ain't the worst. And like I kind of said before in a few or one of the other reviews, he ain't like Martin on Martin. And I've said before too that I like Damon and Tisha Campbell as well as, you know, their characters as well, Michael and Jay. I like their chemistry and relationship better than Martin and Gina on Martin. Now, granted, you can say that the age difference makes a difference, and I would agree to an extent, okay? But we'll unpack that, the comparisons of the husbands and the level of misogyny another time. But yeah, all that to say, Michael ain't the worst. House of Never. There are some misogynistic traits there that have to be unpacked because you telling her that she falling down on her job and her role and all of this. And again, I done unpacked quite a bit in the past couple of reviews how Michael being dedicated to his work and his business and all that got in the way of his balance and his presence at home with the kids, doing things that should also be a part of his role. But he is thinking that the cooking and the cleaning and the kids and all of that are Jay's role because she is the woman. Okay, and he up here trying to downplay her ability to be ambitious and be a mom. Okay, you mom shaming her and carrying on, and working woman shaming her. Okay, basically because you feeling insecure and you operating in this simple mindset that she's supposed to be doing this and that because she's a woman, and you're trying to make it seem like it's unattractive on her for her to be the working woman and the wife type shit and the mom and all of that. Basically trying to say, you know what I'm saying? You got to pick one or the other. Like society does to women already. You can't be ambitious and independent and have your husband and your kids all at the same time. You got to pick. Because if you're going to be independent and all of that make you unattractive. What man going to want to deal with that, right? And that ain't all of what he said exactly, but that's the message in a nutshell, okay? You're trying to shame her and make her feel essentially, you know what I'm saying, like invaluable, when in actuality, what she doing is actually of high value, right? And ain't a lot of these men these days talking about they don't want no woman that's just sitting around waiting to be kept and all of this, even though being a housewife is a lot of work. Did you just hear everything that she just said? She said she gonna cook dinner, check homework, do 4 loads of laundry, and 2 loads of dishes. Now, that leads me back to my other point. He done went down all of this of what she doing and ain't doing, but when did you hear him offer some help? He could have came in and commenced to cooking dinner, but no, he want to come in and do impersonations of everybody and dwell all in his negativity and his misogynistic feelings of it all because he feels like she supposed to cook the dinner. Nigga, you could have went ahead and got that chicken thawed. You could have went ahead and threw some burgers on the stove. Fuck you mean? You could have got some things prepared. You could have started the laundry. You could have done them dishes so they already be done and she ain't got to come home and try to cook in no dirty kitchen. But no, you just want to put it all on her back and act like it's all on her. It's all her fault. Boy, bye. She ain't got the audacity to be asking for a little tase by the end. And honey, studies show that after women get done doing the cooking and the cleaning and the working and all of that, don't feel like giving you now a piece of little Nathaniel. You know? So you needed to have been offering some help. Then she probably would have been offering you some help. Okay? Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and segue into the next scene. Now, the next scene, the kids have finally made it to the house. Junior and Claire are walking in. Michael tells them, okay, come on in, settle in. Your mama done cooked. She put a lot of heart into it. We're going to sit down, have dinner together, have some family time. Now, let me find out. A whole lot of this has been Michael's passive aggression of wanting to spend some quality time. But feeling like, he's too much of a man to just straight up say that. He gotta make his wife feel less than instead. If you don't get it together. But okay. He said, your mom put a lot of heart into it. So now we're gonna have some family time. Okay? Junior ain't feeling it. He is clearly, in his feelings, has had a rough day. He don't want to eat. He don't want to go back to school. He's trying to just walk on out. Michael stopped him and put his foot down like, no. What's wrong with you? You're gonna eat whether you like it or not. But what's good? What's happening? Claire pipes up and says, he getting bullied by this new kid at school. He be taking his hat and dangling it over his head, calling them ugly and shit. And Junior tells Michael that the boy done told him that he's so ugly when he was born, the doctor almost circumcised his nose. Now, I would say that's a hit. That's a hit. You know what I'm saying? House and never. Being the fact that I already know that this little boy is white, I feel like that has some racial undertones. What you trying to say? You trying to make fun of his nose because he black? Is it because he black? Anyway, Junior says, everybody was laughing at me and I wanted to punch him. Claire said, well, why didn't you? And Junior says, because he's so much bigger than me, he would demolish me. He would pound me into a pulp. And Jay pipes in and says, and it's also not the way to handle it. You need to learn how to use your mouth in conflict. Mike says, yeah, bite him. She said, no, that's not what I meant. Do not bite him. I mean, you need to learn how to use your words in defense of his words. And Junior said, I ain't tried that. And Michael is like, okay, what you say? What was your efforts in using your words against him? Junior said, he said to the boy, your head's so big, you probably need a really big head. Now, keep that little roast in mind. But Junior, that's not the way you wanna read. That ain't it, my boy. That ain't it. And Michael tells him, that ain't it. You got your mama's sense of humor. I don't know, honey. I don't know. Because Jay was coming with some roast and some gags. But y'all, Katie come in talking about some, what's up, daddy? And daps him up. Honey, what's she been watching? But Michael's gonna say, yeah, for cheesy, off the heezy, magnesy, Chucky cheesy. And tells her, go ahead and sit down and join everybody for dinner. They fixing to gather for dinner. Jay comes over, you know what I'm saying? She is BB, Susie, JJ, homemaker. And she done made everybody's favorites. Curry chicken for Michael. Hamburger and fries for Junior, grilled veggies for Claire, and macaroni and broccoli. Macaroni and cheese, that is, honey. Macaroni and cheese and broccoli for Katie. I like macaroni and cheese and broccoli too, Katie. The girl that played Katie is also a Leo, so I just feel like we got a lot in common now. Anyway, how sweet. Now that is quite magnificent and loving and shows how much she cares. Also, though, I just don't like the performative femininity or the way that she was shamed into this performative femininity. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. The characteristics of Jay as a whole, she is naturally a homemaker on some shit. It's just this, in particular, there are some things where Michael has clearly shamed her into it. Anywho, Michael says, this is impressive. She says, not for Superwoman, honey. It's a regular day. But he invites her on down to the table to sit amongst them and whatnot because they got to teach Junior how to play the dozens, how to roast. And playing the dozens is something that is, a part of black culture. Going back and in the forth and spitting out the roasting and the gags. And they all go through different jokes. And Jay makes a joke about like saying, your mama's so fat, she broke her leg and gravy poured out. That's funny. And Claire say, try, your daddy so old, he knew Burger King when he was just a prince. Ooh, stang, Claire, stang. Okay. Katie said, your feet so stanky, your shoes ran away. Okay. Okay. And Michael tell him, baby, this is in your genes. Ain't no way you can't do this. Like, what you mean? And he tell him, try this joke. Your mama's so fat, she come from both sides of the family. Now, I done heard that one, so it don't hit the same for me as the other ones. But there's still a funny joke nonetheless. Michael goes on to ask him, who is this kid? Who this boy? Where he come from? Who is people? And Junior tells him his name is George Blake. His family are the Blakes. And they just moved into the Donnegan's house not too long ago. So evidently that's somewhere either on their street directly or just like in the neighborhood. And like Claire said, he's a new kid at the school. Ain't no way you up here letting the new boy bully you. Like, what? Don't they usually go the other way around? But that's probably why, well, at least a part of why that boy is acting like that, because he getting bullied or been bullied elsewhere, and so he assuming that coming into a new environment, somebody is gonna be after him, so he trying to get them so they get him type shit. We'll unpack that a little more a little later. But Michael says, okay, how about this? We're going to invite the Blakes over, wine and dine them, get them real comfortable and everything, learn some of their secrets, learn more about them, take some notes for you to use against that boy once y'all link back up. Because see, the thing is, you probably having some insecurities about the stuff that he's saying and doing to you, because you probably feel like some of that stuff that he's saying is true, specifically about you being an ugly baby. And honey, that definitely be true. Like in certain situations where it seems like everybody is talking their shit, but one person in particular say something, and this is a different situation from what's going on in this particular episode. But I'm just kind of segueing a little bit, cause see, I'm like usually the person where people want to talk they shit. People want to try to crack jokes on me and say whatever they want to say, then get real mad, honey, real in their feelings, and make me the villain because my joke was funnier. But really what it is though, and I said this too about Candace on Potomac, a lot of the times the issue that they have with you when you're the person, like more people are mad about your response and it seems like everybody else can talk their shit and da da da. Sometimes the issue is that what you're saying actually has truth to it, or they feel like it's true about them. It ain't just some stuff that you making up. It's something that you have legitimately observed and are using to essentially throw back in their face type shit. And I bring up Candace in that because folks is always, Candace from Real Housewives of Potomac, that is. If you don't know, child, you just, say sit back real quick. But folks is always talking about Candace mouth this, Candace mouth that. She's just so wild by the mouth, despite the fact that everybody on every housewife show has been held by the mouth and be saying crazy stuff out their mouth. And outside of the colorism of it all, the issue that they have with Candace is the shit that she be saying is often true. And the stuff that they be saying about her and other people be stuff that they just pulled out the crack of their ass and orchestrated themselves. It's what they felt ought to be the truth, but ain't actually the truth. And that's why roast, reads, gags, jokes that are rooted in absolute truth hit different. Granted, most jokes have some sort of truth to it. Like it's coming from somewhere. It may not be true about the person that you're saying it about. It may be true about you and you projecting it. Okay. But the projected truth, the shit that you're just pulling out your ass that's really about somebody else or about yourself and you just throwing it in somebody's face, them don't hit the same as somebody saying some shit that's straight up legit true that everybody can observe as true, straight up, and it done got thrown in your face. Like, for instance, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, child. For instance, Tamar likes to try to, Tamar Braxton it is, likes to try to talk about K. Michelle. Likes to try to talk about K. Michelle and talk about how she sing and whether or not she's talented and all this and that and the third. Now that's what Tamar feels like ought to be the truth. Okay? And may even be Tamar projecting some of her own insecurities. And that's not to say that Tamar is untalented or can't sing or none of it, because she absolutely can. Okay? I'm just saying it may be something that she is insecure about in herself. She might have some imposter syndrome or something. Okay? However, K. Michelle saying that she looked like Janice the Muppet, that is the truth. And it hit so hard like that, it stuck like grits, okay, to the bottom of a pan. When K. Michelle said that to her, and for years to come, because it's been years since she first said it, it's stuck like that because everybody can see very clearly that it is true. Yes, Tamar is gorgeous. Tamar is a very pretty woman. And she also looked like Janice the Muppet. Okay, now back to the show and the subject at hand. So yeah, they're going to invite the Blakes over to wine and dine them, get them all comfortable, take some notes on them or whatever. And Michael lets Junior know that, okay, we're going to do these things, come up with some jokes that are rooted in truth. So they'll really, stick like grits, because that's a part of, why his jokes and everything is hitting you like that, because you feel like some of the things might actually be true about you. And Jay tells him, and it's not true, baby. You were a cute, pretty, beautiful baby. And this is how we also learn that Michael is a part of the problem. Because when Jay says that, Michael gonna follow up behind talking about they did have to take a couple of inches up off of your nose, though. You know what I'm saying? Just a few inches. Sir. And honey, we'll unpack that in due time. Just hold on just a sec. And the next day, they do exactly that. They have the Blakes over for dinner, wine, and dine. And they sitting in the living room having, some casual conversation and everything. And Joey, which is George's father, he compliments Jay on the key lime pie she made. Now, I know this is just a show, but as much as everybody throughout the series would compliment Jay's cooking, I really want to taste some of Jay's cooking. Especially the desserts, because they seem to dote over them desserts. So, anywho. Michael is like, you like it so much, take your son with you, take you home, George some as well. And his mama says, no, he won't be getting any pie. He's on a diet, he just got too big. So we had to send him to fat camp. And his daddy says, yeah, Sugar Woods, I think it's a load of crap. If he hadn't lost all that weight, he'd have been able to go out for a football scholarship, even though his head's still too big to fit the helmet. And remember I said keep that joke in mind. Michael gonna say, goodness, his head must be huge. And the daddy says, yeah, size 14. He said, goodness. Michael says, goodness. So what do you do? Like, sew 2 size 7s together? And George's mama says, oh, that's a great idea. I used to do a lot of sewing back in the day, and he was my little dress mannequin. I used to sew the dresses around him, and he just smiled and giggled. And they playing along with her like, oh, yes, it's so adorable. And then she says, okay, yeah, we gotta go, because you know how Georgie Pooh doesn't like being home alone. Honey, tisk. And Joey, the daddy, is like, yeah, about as much as he hates being called Georgie Pooh. And Michael says, honey, who wouldn't? I know, right? That big old boy, you calling him Georgie Pooh. Po thing. But they head out, you know what I'm saying? They bid each other their farewells. Thank you for the hospitality and everything. Yes, it's so wonderful to get to know the neighbors anytime. You all have a great night. And as they are heading out, Katie is heading in to take a sniff out the spots where the neighbors have been sitting. And child, I'm gonna let Raven do it. You're nasty. And Jay agrees, because she like, baby, what is you doing? But apparently Katie didn't like what she smelled, because she like fans her nose and it's like, no. And then runs back upstairs. And Michael is like, it's okay, relax. She just seat sniffing. And me and Jay is like, huh? What they do that at? And he like, it's just another way of, secretly getting to know the people that's been in your house better. Now, in a way, I can see what you mean. Like, you're getting to know more about their hygiene, perhaps. And maybe as a kid, they're picking up something a little extra concerning their energy, maybe, senses and things. Howsoever. You're a little nasty. Disgusting. Okay, and Jay is like, see, when we going over to other folks' house, ain't no way they be doing all of this. And Michael said, it's a thing, you probably just a sniff E, because if you ain't doing the sniff in, you must be a sniff E. And Jay says, so we be down here sitting and then we get up. Them kids come down here and be putting their nose all on the pillows and carrying out. He said, no, that would be weird. You don't do it to your family, baby. The whole thing is weird. What is wrong with y'all? You need a check, okay? A big fat check for that disorder, because that is disorderly. And Jay is like, okay, so wait a minute. You telling me that it is rules to this? And he said, really, the only rule is you got to get down here within 15 to 20 seconds, or else the scent that you're trying to sniff for, it ain't going to be there no more unless you got them plastic seat covers. Baby, no. No. You're nasty. And once again, me and Jay are on the same page. She said, no, this is not cute. This is not fun. This is not it. And Michael said, calm down. It's just a phase. Baby, ain't no phase. Phase it out. Fade it to black. Stop the madness. And she heads on up the stairs to get on her, honey. And I'm headed up there with her. Now she get on up there. She walks on in. She greets Katie and tell her, look, hey, you doing all that sniffing, the seat sniffing. What is all that about? And Katie's like, it's just fun. It's just a little thing to do. And Jay tells her, no, mommy doesn't think it's very good. You know what I'm saying? I want to be a party pooper to you, but we got to cut that out. But in the process, she noticed that Katie is missing some teeth. Now, honey, they act like it's just one, but I could have sworn I seen like 2 teeth missing at the bottom. And these are apparently Katie's first teeth that she done lost. It's her first time losing some teeth. And Jay has missed it, and now she's feeling bad. And she's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even get to tell the tooth fairy to come and see you. And Katie consoles her and tells her it's okay. She was visited by the Tooth Brother. So Junior had to fill in the blanks. That's good that Junior was there to do that, okay? That's cute. That's real good. But, Jay is now feeling the natural mom guilt on some shit, on top of the fact that it's probably ringing in her head all over again the way Michael was on her case, mom shaming her to begin with. And she basically is making a vow to herself from this point forward to be more in tune and more present. And I don't see no problem with her coming to that decision for herself, because she do gotta have a work-life balance in general. And I would imagine that is something major to feel a way about missing your kids' first teeth, especially if you got to be there to see all of the other firsts for all of the other kids. I can't blame her for that. Now, the next thing we get is the showdown with Junior and the bully, Georgie Pooh. So it looks like him and some of their other classmates, including Claire, or they have gotten off the bus or whatever and have entered the neighborhood, getting ready to, basically disperse to their respective homes. But before they can do that, Georgie Pooh decides to crack some jokes on Junior, talking about he's so dumb. The teacher said 2 + 2 is 4, and he asks for what? Shut up. Junior tell him he's so dumb, he can't even spell IQ. I like that one better. And Georgie Pooh clapped back, talking about, well, you so dumb, you probably think milk and magnesia come from Chinese cows. Junior, you letting this, you know what I'm saying, get you down? Like, come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Then he followed up with another one that I know he had to get from like a movie or something. But he gonna tell him, this is Georgie Pooh still talking now. He said, you so ugly, when you was born, the doctor slapped your mama. Who you stole that from, huh? Who you stole that from? What movie you was watching you stole that from? Anywho. See, now this is when Junior get into reading and roasting him with all the notes that they gathered from the gathering. He say, yeah, I might be ugly, but at least I'm not some husky little boy whose mama put dresses on him like a little girl, a chubby little girl. And he say, yeah, I might be ugly, but at least I'm not some husky little boy whose mama put dresses on him like a little girl, an ugly little girl with a big head, who cries like a baby anytime he's left alone at his own house. Ain't that right, you Sugarwood's fat boy camp dropout, Georgie Pooh? Yeah, get on. And everybody is cracking up off this. Everybody is cracking up, especially Claire standing right next to him, just cackling, honey, cackling. But Georgie Pooh can't take it, and he shoved Junior to the ground. Junior is shocked, appalled, okay, flabbergasted. But Claire is trained to go. She jumped up in front of him and said, hey, you keep your hands up off my brother, boy. What's good? And he said, what you gonna do about it, string bean, baby? When I say Claire cocked back and drew forward like nobody's business, honey, and fractured that boy nose, sent him spinning, honey. He ain't do a full spin, because, of course, that's a sturdy boy. But he spunt enough, honey. That top part of him spunt enough. Knocked his head back, peeled his muffin cap back, blew. And I was here for it. And Claire was here for it. And the kids is looking like, oh, shit. She back that action. She back that life. She got them hands, them thunder cookies. And Claire jump at him like, what's good? You feeling froggy? Who else wants some of Debo? Beat him down, I'll beat you down. And Claire turned around looking at Junior cheesing like a chess cat, proud of herself, child. But Junior looking at her like she did something wrong in his fees and just walk away like I ain't even say nothing. Just like, now he mad at her. Don't be mad at her. Why you ain't do nothing when the fat bitch pushed you? Nah. So Junior feeling like a bitch. He laid up in his room sulking. Michael goes up there to talk to him. Like, what's up, champ? How goes it? And he like, how you think I'm doing? Fuck you mean? And Michael tell him, baby, what you mean? You won. And Junior talking about, well, I ain't win. Claire won. Now, he talking about if I go back to school, he gonna kill me. First of all, ain't nobody finna let that happen, honey. You need to calm down. And you letting his size get to you too bad. You can see this little boy ain't shit, and he a big boy, but he clearly little in spirit. He ain't about that action for real. Because if he was, broken nose or not, he would have like put the paws on you right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely don't feel like he should have swung back on Claire. Like, no, that would have definitely made him a punk biatch out here beating up on girls. But if he was like that, he would have went ahead and put the paws on Junior anyway. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He would have been done it. He messing with Junior clearly because he feel like he an easy target. And a part of him feeling like Junior's an easy target is feeling like he also ain't got nobody that would defend him. But now he know that he got people that will defend him. That's why he ran on the other way. And now, yeah, it's hard to tell. And a part of the fear is valid because folks do be crazy out here. But, you know what I'm saying? It's also certain instances where you can tell that somebody really ain't about their action for real. And Michael telling him, look, you got to go back to school. We ain't doing this. Ain't no way you finna let no man put that type of fear in you. And Junior like, baby, he is not just a man. He's like a whole crowd. That was funny, Junior. That was funny. But Michael goes on to continue to emphasize to him that if you keep cowering to this boy, he just gonna keep coming for you, and then more people gonna be coming for you, and you gonna be cowering to folks in situations for the rest of your life. G talking about he can live with it. Now, child, you saying that nah. But no, that ain't no way you want to live. And Michael is saying, well, no, I can't live with it. We not having that. I'm not going for it. Now, you ain't got to go back and forth with him. You ain't got to fight him. You can walk away. But what you also will do is stand up, look him in the eye, and let him know you ain't no punk bitch. And so you're like, so you really think that's going to work? You know what I'm saying? I just look him in the eye and walk away. Now, of course, that ain't that easy. You know what I'm saying? It's a little more to it than that. Yeah. But the consensus is to show that one way or another, you ain't no punk bitch. And there's multiple ways that you can do that besides, you know, engaging directly and actively in the conflict. That's Michael's point. But Michael said, yeah, walk away if you need to. And if he's as big as you say he is, drop some Twinkies behind while you do it. And walk fast. Shoot, walk up a hill. Petty. So then we get into a scene that kind of annoyed me. But it's Jay going up to have a conversation with Claire about her reactive actions in the situation. But first, Jay has to very aggressively lay on thick of the affection to compensate for everything that she has been lacking around the house lately. So she grabs Claire and hugs her vigorously, all in her bosom. It tells her how much she loves her and all of that. And Claire's like, honey, have you been watching Oprah again? And she says, no, and I haven't been watching my family either. But all of that is about to change. My gosh, Claire, why did you hit that boy? What happened? And Claire's basically letting her know, look, I felt defensive over my brother. I couldn't be sitting up letting that boy put the paws on my brother. It was just instinct. I had to jump in and make it do what it do. And Jay is like, look, I don't want you fighting. Look at this face. Look at this cute little face. I don't want anything happening to this face. And Claire's like, okay, well let it go. And, you know, I feel Jay's concerned because, you know, that's her kid. And her getting in the middle, child, I won't ever tell you to get in the middle of a fight between men, honey. Plenty fights between men have broken out around me. And as soon as I saw niggas get up, I was scurrying towards the door. I am little. I am smaller, probably smaller than Claire was at this time. I am little. Okay? No. Little, and I am a girl. Absolutely not. I'm not jumping in no fights between no men. But, you know what I'm saying? So, I feel Jay. I feel Jay, you know? And that's her kid. She don't want her getting hurt, harms in no way, shape, or fashion. Especially by no men. You know, I feel her. I feel her on that. The part that, kind of worked my nerves is when she gets into this spiel about men wanting to feel like warriors and priding themselves on being protectors, and it's women's role to make sure that they feel that, and all this other shit, basically telling her that it's her role to coddle men's egos. And Claire's like, I ain't finna kiss up to that fat tub of lard. And Jay's like, I'm not talking about him, darling. I'm talking about you and your brother. I'm talking about your brother. And so, this is problematic because, yes, you're talking about her brother, but you're basically impressing upon her that men that she has affection for, she needs to walk around their, like she needs to coddle their ego and tiptoe around their ego. It should not be a woman's responsibility to make a man feel like a man. All that social conditioning. Now, granted, because of the way that society is and has been for a while, it is necessary and inevitable to an extent that women have to, in certain ways, like, you know, pamper and pet men's egos a little bit. But that's not right. That's not, you know what I'm saying, a woman's role. First of all, men are naturally stronger than women physically, regardless of height or whatever. A man my size is still stronger than me. And I know it for a fact because I've been around plenty men my size, and they are strong as fuck. Okay? Much stronger than me, and I'm pretty strong for my size. So, yeah, no. They're stronger and have a whole couple of extra pieces of equipment dangling between their legs. And you need women, first of all, who the lot of you don't even think are valuable, don't even think are strong, smart, worth anything. But you need women to make you feel like what you are. No. If you want to pride yourself on being a warrior and a protector and all of that, then you got to be that. Okay? You want to be a boss? Guess what? You got to pay the cost. Sure enough. You wanna wear the pants? Guess what? You got to be a man. Sure enough. Cause baby, peep this. It's women that's warriors and protectors too. And that's what Claire has basically shown, honey. She got a warrior spirit. She got a protector spirit. It ain't about what gender you are, because clearly she's a girl and she got it in her to tag that ass. And Junior, despite him being a male, a boy, is just not a fighter. He's a lover. He's a gentle spirit. He's an artist and shit. Okay? And that's exactly how gender roles be fucking people up. Because now this boy feel pressured to be something that he not. And Claire is being shamed for being something that she is, all because he a boy and she a girl. Which is a similar thing that Michael and Jay have going on as well. Jay is multifaceted, multidimensional. But Michael low-key high-key kind of wants to shrink her because she's a woman. And not just any woman, but a wife and a mother. And he's putting it off on her to do 50 11 things and all of this and that and the third to make him feel like a man. It's not enough that he has his own business that is successful and allows him to get off earlier than everybody else. It's not enough that he's bigger and stronger than her. It's not enough that she is already naturally a homemaker, naturally a nurturer. It's not enough. She has to shrink herself and bend herself into a pretzel to make him feel like a man. Ciao, bye. And as much as I understand her concern, I feel like she could find a better way to show that than trying to shame Claire and make her wrong for what she did. Like, the fuck? Because even though I'm not one to be jumping in the middle of fights between men and shit, I can't say that if I had a brother, I don't have a brother, but I can't say that if I had a brother and I saw somebody picking on him, like all of us around the same age type shit, and I saw somebody picking on him, male or female, and he, you know what I'm saying, didn't have it in him to defend himself, I can't say that I wouldn't jump up and beat the punk down, okay? Can't say that I wouldn't jump up, pick up a stick, and knock the nigga across the head. I can't say that. I can't say that I wouldn't find something to pound him into a pulp with. I can't say that, okay? I can't say that I wouldn't be pulling off my shoes and trying to throw it at his motherfucking forehead. You feel me? I can't say that. Because I definitely probably would, because I am a person that is a protector, warrior spirit type shit. And I just don't like how Jay is, you know what I'm saying, trying to shame her and make her wrong for that. Again, the concern is valid. But I would say, you know what I'm saying, express your concern, make that clear. But don't fucking make it like she wrong for how she responded. Because how she responded made sense. Just like if Junior had jumped up and put the paws on that boy, it also would have made sense. Her reaction was valid, and her reaction wouldn't have been present if that boy hadn't initiated violence in the first place. But Claire does take in what Jay says to her, and she goes on over into Junior's room, and he over there reading a self-defense book, and he starts right on in on her, talking about, I don't need you to jump into my fights. I don't need you to fight for me. I can do what I need to do all by myself. And Claire, you know what I'm saying, kind of reverses it on him. She puts down a good one, and she said, look, I just jumped in because I felt like I was protecting you from yourself. I just knew that if you had jumped up and started pounding on that boy, that you was probably gonna hurt him so bad that you end up getting into some real serious trouble. And we ain't want that. And Junior is basically like, you know, he just gone ahead and it's like, fuck it, you know, I just ain't about that life. You know what I'm talking about? That boy would have beat my motherfucking ass because I wasn't gonna be able to do it. And, you know, even though Junior tried to go in on her right quick, right fast, I respect the fact that he snatched that shit back and just really owned his shit. And that's some strong shit too, because everybody ain't no fighter. Everybody ain't got it in them like that. And me personally, I feel like if Junior had really tried, then he probably would, you know what I'm saying, be able to beat that boy up. Because it ain't the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. Okay? And with that said, Junior just probably ain't got the type of fight in him. He just don't seem like the type of person that can bring themselves to hurt somebody in a physical manner. He's just not a fighter. He's a gentle spirit, okay? And that's okay. There is strength in that as well. People fight in different ways. You don't have to get physical, or even vitriol. You know what I'm saying? He did good playing the dozens, but that's probably not even something that he would like to consistently engage in. He's very chill, non-confrontational, just like to have a good time. And that's okay. And Claire basically kind of tells him a bit of the same thing, like, just because you're not a fighter and just because he bigger than you don't mean that you weak. You really conquered and won and showed that you strong in so many different ways because you faced your fears. You stood up to somebody 10 times bigger than you who you really afraid of. You did it with Ritz and you stood on business. You stood on business because what he was doing was clearly easy. He picking on you because you smaller than him. He picking on you because he feel like he ain't had nobody to defend you. So that make him pussy. And Claire is absolutely correct. And Junior, you know what I'm saying, he takes in what she said. But she tell him, you know what I'm saying, I gotta go now because I got some homework to do. And we head on into the next scene where we see Claire finishing up her homework on the couch with a friend. And they get up and leave out, and we see Jay standing in the kitchen watching through the little like window way between the kitchen and the living room. She is watching Katie like a hawk in the sky that flies, and she is her prey. Katie's coming down the stairs to sniff that pillow, but it's been peppered by Jay. Achoo, achoo, achoo. Jay done got her head over and put pepper in the seats. Good one, Jay. That's a good one. I like that. Because I ain't gonna lie. I don't, you know what I'm saying, condone whooping the kids. House and never. There are certain things that I can't say I wouldn't whip my kids for. And one is stealing. Okay? That's literally one of the only things. I ain't got kids. So just me without kids. The one thing that I've always felt like is stealing at any age, at any rate, can warrant violence from the person that you stole from. Now, look, I ain't saying people got to lose their lives or nothing. I ain't saying you got to go mad far. I ain't saying you got to be doing the most. But your kid stealing, it makes sense for them to get, you know what I'm saying, some pats on the ass. Okay? Somebody steal from you. It makes sense for you to want to go upside their head. Because stealing, honey, that's a conversation for another time. But in a nutshell, I just feel like stealing turns into a whole nother bowl of tricks. Okay? So that's something that has to be nipped in the bud real quick, right fast. And stealing is traumatizing to people. Okay? No. So yeah, people who steal need therapy, but to an extent, some of them need to be slapped as well. Okay? So yeah, until and unless I hear of a better method, if and when I have kids, and my kids be stealing, if they be stealing, they gonna get a spanking. Okay, I ain't gonna be beating them upside the head with extension cords and throwing them in the walls and stomping them out. And I ain't gonna be doing all of that, but they are gonna get a spanking because we're not doing that. If you got some other methods to deal with that, you know what I'm saying, put them in the comments. But I feel like spank them. They stealing, spank them. Again, I don't condone, you know what I'm saying, I don't agree with whooping and beating your kids and stuff. I don't agree with it. House and never. I do know that people ain't perfect and shit happens. And again, stealing sounds like something that people get their ass whooped for. That's just me, okay? I'm still young. Work with me. God ain't through with me yet. Now, I said all that to say that, again, I like Jay's idea of putting pepper in the seats because it does get the point across to Katie that you need to stop doing that because not only is it nasty, but you never know what folks is leaving behind in them seats. It could end up getting up your nose like pepper. Now, again, all that to say that I've probably been on spank Katie. Because that's nasty. It's just a no. I've been a spank tough at it. Because, again, this is also why, you know, I feel like when people have kids, you guys to come up with different methods. And, you know, as I said before, in different reviews, Michael and Jay go about things trying to avoid violence because their parents were violent with them one way or another. So they go about trying to be different. And, you know, the general consensus of the image that's being given to the media in this time period is a lot of black sitcoms, the black families, they're trying to show that black people don't just be beating their kids because people do make that a black people thing and make it a thing where white people don't whoop their kids. And that's why their kids be cussing them out and doing the goddamn most. So much like the Bernie Mac show, this show also tries to show a multitude of different methods to handle and discipline your kids without beating and whooping them and showing that black people are capable of that as well. So look at there. Because like I said, my mindset was to whoop her. And like I said, I don't even believe in whooping kids like talking about. But for that, I've been a whooped up. Because again, it proves the point that when people whoop their kids, a lot of the time it's because they don't know what else to do. And or they just want somebody to take their frustrations out on. And they kind of being lazy. They don't know what else to do. They too shamed and prideful to ask anybody else for help on what to do. And so they just beat their kids and instill fear in them. So yeah, I'm glad Jay chose that method as opposed to whooping her like I was thinking. And Jay is feeling proud of herself, honey. She's like, okay, I got that down. Katie has been nipped in the bud. I went and talked to Claire, even though I wasn't there when she turned into Mike Tyson on that boy. But hey, we is getting it in gear. We is back on track. And Michael expresses that he's proud of Claire. He feels like she was absolutely correct. She did everything that needed to be done because he said if you touch one member of the cow clan, then honey, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, dishonor on your children. And I felt it. But Jay don't want to encourage it again. I understand why. Because fighting fire with fire is not always the way to go. You don't want to create cycles of violence. House and never. It's a time and a place for everything. And at that time, it was a time and a place for Claire's fist to meet that boy's face, okay? It what it is. It just is what it is. Okay? Now, Claire J. Jay starts telling him, nah, we ain't gonna be able to do that. We're gonna have to come up with something else because, she's concerned about the responses to their responses. And again, that's valid. And she was like, people shoot nowadays and da-da-da. And that's a valid point as well. It also made me think about the fact that some of that comes from men in particular being made to feel like because they are men, they have to be warrior spirits. And so because a lot of men aren't, and they know that they're not fighters, they end up feeling like they have to put forth this image one way or another. So let me get a gun. And that reminds me of Juice, right? Bishop was being bullied and having issues at home. And they didn't say it straight up, but it gives the notion that Bishop didn't really have it in him to defend himself physically when it comes to, going blow for blow type shit. So he got his hands on that gun and it made him feel powerful. It made him feel like the warrior that society says that he is supposed to be. So if I can't fight you, I'm going to shoot you. So, like, yeah. So I would, you know what I'm saying? If I was to talk to Jay personally, this is a show. If I was to talk to her personally, we would, unpack that. Like, so do you think that it's possible that impressing these gender roles upon your kids could lead your son into a life of gun violence? Though, like I said, I feel like Junior is just not that type of person, but it's been quite a few people in this world that were not that type of person before, but circumstances drove them to be that type of person. So, something to think about. But yeah, she tells Michael that he gonna have to come up with a better plan because now he gotta deal with the daddy. And they can't be doing all that rambunctious, rowdy, rough boy ass shit. You got to come up with something different. So, Michael makes his thinking of a master plan face. And so Joey and Georgie Pooh come over. Child, why they get this little itty bitty teensy weeny chair for Georgie Pooh to sit in? Just petty. They knew what they was doing, honey. They knew what they was doing. And let me be clear, okay? Body positivity around here. Body positivity. This is what they are doing. Okay? I gotta review it as it is. Okay? So, and also this boy's a bully. Fuck him. I'm sorry. So they come over to discuss the incident. And Joey starts in talking about this has been a very unfortunate incident. And Michael is like, look, I would hardly call it an incident. The kids got out of hand. It was a little situation and it's situated. And Georgie is saying, listen, no, your daughter hit my kid. And Georgie Pooh is also sitting up there like he just, a little innocent, defenseless baby and all of that, giving white virginity, baby. No. And this is kind of letting us know some things, okay? But we're going to come back to that. Joey Pooh is steady trying to, victim, make like his son is the victim. Being one of those parents that basically is giving, they don't think their kid do nothing wrong. And Michael is like, my daughter hit your son after he hit my son. And Joey Pooh gonna try to say, well, it's clear that he was provoked. What's clear about it? How is it clear? How is it clear? Now, one thing, I understand why, but one thing that is perturbing me is the way that we're not addressing the racial implications here. Okay? Hence, I brought up white virginity. That's usually used for white women. But a part of white virginity with white women is infantilism. And there is infantilism taking place with Georgie Pooh on down to him sitting in a child's chair. Okay? So, yeah, it's a fat joke, but it's also some symbolism as well. Okay? Okay. And, some further implications is you up here just knowing that your kid was provoked. Now, granted, it could be that he behaves differently at home. I'm willing to bet on that. Howsoever, it also seems to be some racial implications kind of taking place here. Okay? Okay. You're talking about he was provoked. Child's bye. And Michael is like, baby, child's by yourself because it's very clear. Now, this is clear that your son is 10 times bigger than my son. What you mean he was being provoked? And so Joey Pooh just want to wrap it up talking about, look, just let's make sure that this doesn't happen again. And he says it in a threatening way. And Michael says, okay, and if it does, what you mean by that? And Joey Pooh gonna say, I might have to take it into my own hands. And Michael tells him, well, honey, if you take it into your own hands, then you're going to have to put down the snack cakes and the cheeseburgers and the candy. So Joey Poo is telling her, so what you trying to call me fat? Michael says, I ain't going to call you fat. The scale calls you fat. The Richter scale calls you fat. Michael goes on to say, I call you Chubsy Wubsy. That's what I call you. And Joey Poo says, oh, okay. I'd rather be fat than bald. You look like a corn dog with eyes. Ooh. Now, I ain't gonna lie, he kind of ate with that one. He kind of ate. Now, I kind of wanted Michael to say, oh, nah, dog, that's just a hungry hippo jumping up out of you. That's all. But he responds, oh, okay, you want to crack the bald jokes. Okay, so when's the baby due? And Joey Poo says, well, whenever it's due, it's going to have more hair than you. Okay, buddy. But Michael claps back. He said, okay, again with the bald jokes. Well, I'd rather be bald, you know what I'm saying? I can grow hair. You ugly. You can't grow handsome. Desk. Now this gets Joey Poo real froggy. He started trying to get at him. Looking like Fred Flintstone. Desk. And Junior is trying to, you know what I'm saying, reel Michael in like, hey, chill out. And Michael like, no, I'm just trying to get to know the neighbor, you know? The big, fat, double chin, double D toting. And Junior steps in. He like, yo, Dad, what are you doing? But he keep going in. He said, hey, Joey, what's it like having your boxers fit like a thong? Damn. Now, I couldn't resist putting his brothers up for that one. Damon's brothers. I had to put that white chicks gift up there for that one. So Joey Poo is ready to fight. He ready to take it outside. He like, let's go. Mike said, where we going? Is it a buffet out there? Oh. Terrible. Now, look. Body positivity, child. Body positivity. The jokes are still funny at the same time. Like, Mike is dragging, okay? It's a roast battle. They going back and then a forth in it. You're using what they got to get what they want, okay? Okay. Just make sure we're being clear because there's a lot of fat shaming going on, okay? We just got to remember who the bullies are in this case, okay? They started it, okay? But I condone body positivity around here. Body positivity. And also, don't start none, won't be none. Because I don't care how small you is. I don't care if you 60 pounds soaking wet. If you come talk crazy to me trying to crack jokes, you going to be a fat, nasty, bald head, dog face, baloney smelling biatch. Period. I'm going to say whatever I feel like gets to you because that's the object of the conflict at hand. Okay? We roasting and gagging. Now, like I said, the roasts that are rooted in truth, especially if the opponent feels like it's rooted in truth, you know what I'm saying? It's something that they're sensitive about, then that's more so what you're going to use. And people can be, listen, I'm not condoning bullying. I'm talking about a fight. I'm talking about we going back and forth, okay? So you can be small and still have like, you know what I'm saying, body issues. You still have insecurities about the fear of being fat. You can be fat phobic if you small. And so somebody calling you fat can have you like, really? Am I fat? Shit, like on white chicks. That girl was little as hell talking about, oh my gosh, I look so fat. You know what I'm saying? So even though she not fat, if I was to get into it with that girl, I called her fat, greasy, grizzly bear looking mother. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Okay, y'all get the picture. And like I said, the ones rooted in truth hit the hardest. And he already know that they sensitive about their weight. So dude came talking crazy to him. So that's the first thing he brought up because he knew it was thick like grits. Okay? I'm sure he ain't got no issue with fat people for real. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like that. But it so happens that a fat person, two fat people that's sensitive about their weight wanted to come through, start and mess. So you fucking with me, I'm fucking with you. Nah. I'll let that out the way. The boys wrangle in the men and Junior has to remind Michael that he is an adult. Walk away. And so they check themselves. They reel themselves in, get themselves together like, ah, shit, we up here acting like kids. My bad. We acting a fool. You know what I'm saying? Junior say shake on it. They go ahead and shake on it. They apologize and everything. And Georgie Poo tells Joey Poo, come on, Dad. You good, man. We'll go get you some ice cream. And Joey Poo is like, yeah, okay, none fat. A mess. And see, he's sensitive about his weight. All fat people ain't sensitive about their weight. You know what I'm saying? So all fat people wouldn't have had their reaction. Okay? Because I know one of my sisters is a big girl and you call her fat, it don't faze her. So them jokes wouldn't have been able to be used on her. You would have had to come up with something else. Just like the ball jokes ain't phase Michael like talking about. But shit. But it's some folks you crack ball jokes on and it fucks around and get you smacked. But to wrap up this scene, child. Michael apologizes to Junior, tells him, my bad, that was childish, and he gotta admit that sometimes it's hard to walk away. And Junior says, it's all good. I feel you. I understand. You was funny, though. He was funny. Oh, God, he was funny. And Michael says, okay, which one was your favorite? And Junior's favorite was, when's the baby due? My favorite was, how does it feel to have your boxers fit? Shit. I couldn't even get it out. I find that shit so funny. Hold on. My favorite was, how does it feel to have your boxers fit like a thong? That's hell. That's fucked up, but shit. Michael tell Junior, look, I'm gonna buy you some ice cream. Junior clapped back. He said, I'm gonna get you some Rogaine. I'm gonna get you some Rogaine. He didn't even have to do him like that. He didn't even have to do him like that. But that was a good one. That was a good. That was great. That was magnificent. So we're closing out the episode like we often do with Jay and Michael in their bedroom getting prepared for bed. Basically they kind of like in the bed, but Michael is still making his way over to the bed. And he giving her the rundown on the meeting. And she like, damn, y'all almost came to blows. And he said, yeah, lucky I was being held back because I would have put the pause on him. And she like, you silly. Then he gets on in the bed and he like, yeah, you should have seen it. We was acting like a bunch of 9-year-olds. Grown ass men. Acting like schoolgirls. Dumb shit. Sweet Valley High shit. Really, man? Fucking your whole clique. I'm from Memphis. Jump a gate, smack a bitch. Okay, I'm sorry. Music to rest. I'm sorry. So, yeah. So, in that, Jay tells Michael that, you scored points with Junior because he thinks you the greatest right now. And Michael says, yeah, I appreciate that, but really, you the greatest. And he says, you know what? You are Superwoman. And what else I realize is that sometimes even Superwoman needs Superman to come in and straighten out her cape. No capes! I'm sorry. Edna said no capes. I'm sorry. That's not the point. He said sometimes Superwoman needs Superman to come in and straighten out her cape to help her out. He got the point. Yeah, we didn't even have to, you know what I'm saying? Beat it down on him. He ended up getting the point because I was snapping on him at the beginning of this review because I'm like, you asking for this, you asking for that, you expecting this, you expecting that. You don't think you got to chip in and do nothing? Hell. Okay. Anywho. So, yeah. And Jay says, yeah, I guess Superman could use his cape straightened occasionally too. Yes! So this is them having some common understanding that it ain't got to be no gender role ass shit like talking about. They gotta support each other wherever they can. They ain't gotta reject support just because they a woman or a man. If you see your partner needs some help them how you can help them. No, just shame them and beat them down and browbeat them and all this other stuff. Help them. You come home, ain't no dinner cooked. She ain't made it in yet. Cook that dinner. Wash them dishes. The fuck? Something you ain't gotta do it all. Just do a little something. She'll come in and she'll pick up the rest of the slack. Help her out. She'll help you out. And y'all be out here helping each other out. Hey, yeah, but I'm glad, you know what I'm saying? He gave her flowers and he redeemed himself for all that trash he was talking at the very beginning of the episode. And he also goes on to say, but look, you know what I'm saying? If I'm Superman, then you and these kids are my kryptonite. And Jay says, well, if I'm Superwoman, you know what my kryptonite is? You the only thing that makes me weak. Okay, now this is a really nice scene. And I don't want to be that person, but I'm going to be that person. I understand what she's saying because she's saying vulnerable, basically. And there is strength in vulnerability, okay? I got to acknowledge some of the toxicity that's in that statement. Because, I understand that kryptonite is what makes Superman weak, is what brings them down, you know what I'm saying? And using the term weak because people often think that vulnerability is weak. But that gets people's head fucked up because they start to operate in ways where they get with people and because they feel weak, like actually weak, they think that that's love. When what you're really seeking is someone that makes you feel vulnerable, and not only vulnerable, but safe in your vulnerability. And that's what she's expressing to him, that he's her kryptonite in the way that she feels safe in her vulnerability with him, and it brings her more strength. And that's also what he's saying to her and what he's saying. I'm just pointing out how certain words, such as weak, often being interchanged with the term vulnerable, end up fucking people's heads up. Because then people also end up blocking themselves from love because they think that loving and being in love makes them weak, sets them back, hurts them. And no. Loving and being vulnerable with the wrong people makes you weak. But when you being vulnerable and loving with the right people and you feel safe and they assure that safety, it really makes you feel strong as fuck amongst, before, and after the vulnerability. Okay? Okay. A beautiful scene nonetheless. I just had to unpack that a bit. And they end it with a kiss. Seal with a kiss. Baby. Yeah. And before we wrap up real quick right fast, I forgot to tap into certain things concerning the scene we had with Michael and Joey Poo and Georgie Poo and that little spat that they had and all. I was too busy laughing and cracking the fuck up. So what I wanted to unpack there is that scene was showing how the parents are a part of the problem and how the kids were emulating and imitating the parents. And how it was interesting to me that Georgie Poo's father was given this instance like he felt like George was defenseless, some little meek and mild little boy. And I said that it is a chance that he could be that way at home. And it gives that could be the case because it seems like Joey Poo was pretty hard on his son. His mama babied him and kind of feminized him in certain ways. Again, there's nothing wrong with men being feminine. We all have masculine and feminine energy. It's just when you have one parent excessively feminizing you and the other parent excessively kind of shaming you for that, trying to push you to be on football teams, trying to push you to do this and push you to do that. Like his daddy gave very pushy and his mama gave very coddling and babyfying him. Okay? Infantilizing him and shit. And the combination of that could create this Jekyll and Hyde thing where he walks around the house babyfied and also feeling defenseless when it comes to his daddy. And so then he goes to school and he's a bully. And he emulates how his father treats him one way or another. Michael, and I kind of touched on this at the beginning, him being a part of the problem, whereas you always cracking jokes on Junior. You always cracking jokes on him, ugly jokes, dumb jokes, all types of jokes, just always steady cracking jokes on him. And in certain ways, making him feel less than and defenseless when it comes to you. So he goes to school, he's getting bullied by someone who's constantly cracking jokes on him and talking down to him. And he responds in a defenseless manner. And when he does defend himself verbally, again, that was also influenced by you. Because instead of having a meeting with the parents to talk about what was going on between them to begin with, you invited them over to get dirt on them to use as ammo. So yeah, I just wanted to like touch on that and show like when, I'm sorry if I'm saying like a lot, but I wanted to tap into that because a lot of people are very much so blame the kids, blame the kids, blame the kids. These kids just bad. These kids just need their asses whooped and da 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 da. When a lot of the times when kids are bullies, one way or another, it's because they're getting bullied at home. When kids are vulnerable to being bullied, a lot of the times it's because they're being bullied in some way at home. When they start fighting and being violent, a lot of the times it's because in some way that's being normalized at home. So no, these kids ain't just bad. They ain't just bad. They ain't just angry. They ain't just out here to get people. It's parents, it's adults within their village validating it one way or another that it's a time and a place for them to be abusers one way or another, and that it's a time and a place for them to be abused one way or another. And that is problematic on both ends. And honey, that's all I got to say about that. And with all that being said, Charlie, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this couch right. And I'm thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quarters for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in all ways light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.